life of people not only in Niger State but also.
Still a chance for Ian Robin. It's front.
Let him shoot. Let him shoot. No problem.
Fever in Taraba due to lack of specific dialysis machine.
Proposed by the federal government to finance deficit in the 2021 budget by approval. And welcome to news at 12 p.m. on the Gallery TV, reaching live from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria, the nation commercial capital. I am Omolara Adebayo. Now is the news headline. Rep. MOURN, AKALA says ex-Oyo governors deserves national recognition. Returning officer told me 2003 governor result ready before election, Oshoba. Federal government charges not worth defending. Kano tells courts gets February date. 4 kidnapped Uniport students regain freedom. On business news. Assembly demands probe of Bayelsa motor collapse. Cooking gas demand surges over NLNG's 100% domestic supply. On entertainment news. New York Inferno Cardi B to cover victims' funeral costs. Now the news in details. Rep. MOURN's AKALA says ex-Oyo governor deserves national recognition. The House of Representatives on Wednesday honored the former governor of Oyo State, Adebayo AKALA, who has passed away on July 12, 2020. The House urged the federal government to immortalize AKALA, who the lawmakers said deserved national recognition. A member of the House from Oyo State, Olusegun Odebunmi, had moved a motion on the death of the ex-governor, based on which the lawmakers observed a 1-minute silence to honor him. Moving the motion, Odebunmi said AKALA, as deputy governor and later governor, contributed immensely towards the growth, development, peace, and sustainability of Oyo State and Nigeria. The lawmaker described AKALA's death as a national loss, saying the ex-governor will forever be missed. Odebunmi added that the former governor was irreplaceable and deserved national recognition for his relentless and selfless service to the country. The lawmaker unanimously adopted the motion. Returning officer told me 2003 governor results ready before election of Oshoba. A former governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, on Wednesday recalled that now how he was allegedly robbed of victory in the 2003 governorship election in the state. Oshoba, who contested on the platform of the defunct Alliance of Democracy, was defeated by the People's Democratic Party candidate Otumba Gbenga Daniel, but he allegedly that the result of the election were manipulated. Oshoba said he knew he would lose the election following last-minute report from security agencies. According to him, the result had been fabricated even before the poll. He said despite knowing about the conspiracy to rig him out of the office, he still craved into the advice of his followers and shared 140 million to the electorate. And on the eve of the election, Oshoba made a revelation at a book launch at the 60th birthday of his former chief press secretary, Kayode Odunaro, in Abeokuta on Monday. The former governor described the author of the book was a courageous man who was dedicated to his job as a journalist. He noted that Odunaro came to him and he emerged as governor in 1999 as a stoic journalist, saying pressure from the political class in his native Yawa land forced him to drop him as a CPS. Oshoba, who recalled how Odunaro defended his administration against the campaign of Colum by his successor, even at the expense of his life, praised him for being loyal and upright. The former governor, however, said he disagreed with some aspects of the book, particularly the event that surrounded the 2003 general election. Earlier in his welcome address, Odunaro explained that he decided to write the autobiography to expose his work experience to the world, especially and particularly the up-and-coming journalist media managers. Odunaro announced the donation of copies of the book to all libraries and tertiary institutions in the state. While reviewing the book, a renowned columnist, Dr. Festus Adida, said the 318 pages and 38 chapters offer different colors of life and service of the author. later I submitted that the book was beyond a biography but a historical rendition of the military civilian administration. Federal government charges not worth defending, Kanu tells court gets February date. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on Wednesday asked the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to discharge and acquit him of the 15 criminal counts filed against him by the federal government. According to him, the charges which he denied upon arraignment are incurable detective and have no force of law beside the alleged defectors of the charges. He said the defenses or offenses brought against him were committed in the United States Kingdom and not in Nigeria. Kanu had earlier in the day pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to him at the instance of the federal government. Shortly after the plea was taken, the counsel of the federal government, Shaib Labara, told the court that he was prepared to proceed with the trial of the defendants. He informed the court that the two of his witnesses were available, while some exhibits to be tendered to establish charges of terrorism against Kanu. He had also been brought to court. Labaran cited sections 396 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which stipulates that trial should begin after arraignment, while objection on any issues can be taken at any time along with the substantive matters. However, Kanu leads counsel Chief Mike Ozekume San objected to our comments of trial. He said his client had filed two motions on notice, one questioning the validity of the charges and other section based. Ozekume said the two motions were so fundamental because of them that was challenging the competence of the charges and must be first resolved. He stated that Kanu wanted to have discharged and acquitted without standing trial because the charges were incurable, defective, and not worth being defended. The second motion seeking for fresh bail for Kanu was filed on Tuesday and served on the prosecution on Wednesday and was considered not ripe for hearing. Justice Binta Nyako, in a brief ruling, agreed with Ozekume to take the determine the motion challenging the validity of the charges first. The judge fixed February 16 for the parties to return to court to adopt their process for the against the motion. Kanu was then returned to the detention facility of the Department of State Services to issue of his bail request to resolve. The government confirmed that the DSS had provided Kanu with an orthopedic mattress, pillows, and blankets, among others. In compliance with court order, Ozekume stated this that his client would now live and sleep like a human being. Justice Nyako had directed that clothes brought for Kanu by his family members be handed over to the Director of Legal Services, DSS, to enable the IPOB leader to have a change of clothes during the proceedings. Court awards IPOB leader 1 billion naira, asked federal government to tender apology in the related developments. An Abia State High Court sitting in Umuahia and presided over the Justice Benson Anya on Wednesday awarded the sum of 1 billion naira to Kanu over the invasion of his home in Afara, Uku by military personnel on September 10, 2017. Kanu had approached the court to seek justice following the invasion of his house by soldiers after he was granted by bail and treasonable felony brought against him by the federal government. Justice Hanya also ordered the federal government to apologize to Kanu over the invasion. The judge also advised the government to seek a political solution to the charges of treasonable felony against Kanu, for which a standing trial before the Federal High Court in Abuja. The court, however, declined to entertain his alleged abduction from Kenya, saying that the matter should be handled by the Federal High Court. Kanu's left lawyer, ALAO Ejiofor, commended the judgment, saying the gravel has finally fallen in the search for justice. However, the counsel for the military, Amos Tori, said he was waiting for the copy of the judgment for onward transmission to his clients, also commenting the leadership of the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra. Uchenna Madu described the judgment was not coming as a surprise to us, adding that that was one not between Kanu and Nigeria, but between Biafra and Nigeria. 4 kidnapped Uniport students regained freedom. The 4 students of the University of Port Harcourt who were abducted by gunmen have regained their freedom. The students were returning from Albauha area of River State when the kidnappers struck and whisked them away. The Gallery TV gathered that the victims escaped on Wednesday when a team of security operatives invaded the kidnappers' den and engaged them in a shootout. The public relations officer of the university, Sam Ekpenu, while confirming the development study students who had been reunited with their families, he said. Four students of the University of Port Harcourt who were kidnapped last weekend have been released and reunited with their families. By Nebuari, Asumbo, Elizabeth, Eze Chimezie, and Onusubo. Augustine were abducted on the way from the Rashi village, or river, where they had gone for a vegetation sampling for their final year project and postgraduate research work. Hoodlums in the army uniform kidnapped 7 wedding guests in Ogun, demand 60 million ransom Benu, and said the vice chancellor of the school, Professor Owunari George Will receive the 4 students in his office, commended the Nigerian police force, the chief security officer of the university, and entire security agencies in River and Bayelsa State for their prompt intervention, which led to the release of the victims. Good right back.
It is here again. Are you an artist looking for a place to produce and promote your musical videos?
Or a content creator in need of a platform to air your program?
The Gallery TV got you covered.
At the Gallery, we provide world-class production services
Such as
event coverage,
promotion and production of musical videos,
studio rental,
live streaming of events.
We also provide airtime for your program on all our platforms.
These and lots of other interesting packages, all at an affordable price with a 10% discount.
For more details, you can visit us on our website at www.thegallerytv or on our social media platforms at The Gallery TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
The Gallery TV, we set the pace.
Now on business news, demand probe for Bayelsa Motor collapse. The Bayelsa State House of Assembly has passed a 2-point resolution calling on the state government to investigate the circumstances surrounding the collapse of the state-owned Creek Motor in the capital state. It also urged the government to take steps to resuscitate the motor because of its strategic tourism value to the state. The resolution was sequel to a motion moved by the member representing Kolokuma Okokuma Constituency 1, Tonye Sena, during plenary on Tuesday. Sena said the 19-room facility located along the hospital road in Yanagua used to be the preferred hotel by businessmen, oil companies, workers, top military personnel, and politicians, among other clients. According to him, the motor served the tourism and hospitality needs to the state and was a valuable source of revenue to the government. The Sena said shortly after the Creek Motor was contracted out of the foreigner to manage, it went moribund and subsequently closed down after or under circumstances that were not explained. Supporting the motion, the lawmaker representing Ogbia Constituency 1, Mitema Obodo, noted that it was within the legislature's competence to institute a probe into the deplorable condition of the motor that also housed the first set of legislatures and other top government functionaries after the creation of Bayelsa. Other turns to speak on the motion observed that the state was grappling with infrastructure deficit, that was a need to maintain and upgrade facilities instead of abandoning them. Cooking gas demand surges over NLNG's 100% domestic supply. There is currently a surge in the demand for liquefied petroleum gas, popularly called cooking gas, leading to marginal price hike following the recent decision of the Nigerian Liquefied National Gas Company to channel all its LPG into the domestic. January 13, 2022, the board of directors of the NLNG Limited approved the supply of 100% of the company's LPG production, propane and butane, to the Nigerian market. Also, the Minister of State of the Environment, Chief Sharon Ilkezo, said on Monday that the initiative would bring relief to Nigeria's forest by curtailing the use of firewood and charcoal. Speaking on the impact of the NLG announcement on the sales of cooking gas, marketers of LPG told our correspondent on Wednesday that the move had triggered a surge in demand, which warranted a slight hike in price. This came as the gas producing firm explained that its core product was liquefied natural gas and that the LPG was only a byproduct of LNG, stressing that all its cooking gas was now sold in Nigeria. Reacting to this, the national chairman, Liquefied Petroleum Gas Retailers Association of Nigeria, Michael Mudu, stated that though the decision by NLG was welcomed, it had raised some concerns in the market. In October, the spokesperson of the NLG, Ayono Fatai Williams, told our correspondent that the volume of the LPG produced by the firm could not meet Nigeria's demand, as she explained that LNG was the core product of the firm and not LPG. It was, however, gathered on Tuesday that the volume of cooking gas that would be supplied domestically by the NLNG would depend on the amount of feed gas supply to the firm and its byproduct. Nigeria consumes about 1.2 million metric tons of cooking gas annually, while the NLNG produces about 450,000 MT and has promised to supply all of its Nigerian markets. Some marketers and other players in the LPG space import about 65% of the product into the country, while